Right now, we're on a stretch of a country road that essentially runs from the small village town of Stayner, Ontario, to the valley village of Creemore, Ontario. Both names you'll be familiar with if you've watched other of my videos on my YouTube channel. It's an area I photograph a lot. Today is the last day of September, September the 30th. We're on a scouting hike more than anything else. It's about a 19-kilometer round trip from Stayner to Creemore, and today we're looking at essentially the beginning of the fall colours. Now, here in Ontario, the fall colours are just spectacular. They're amazing. People come from, they really do come from all over the world to check out the Ontario fall colours. They're beautiful. So today we're hiking down to Creemore, which is really a nice hike. Lots of hills, lots of valleys, and lots of acreage of essentially, even though we have hills and valleys, it's still essentially flat type land with long kind of vistas. Perfect for fall color photography. The weather today, the high is 11 degrees Celsius. It's grey, it's overcast. Some may say, well, not necessarily the best conditions for fall color photography. I mean, that's true. Some sunshine would be nice, but not completely blue sky. Terrible. What I like is, I love the grey sky. I really, really do love the grey sky. But I also like light that's going to illuminate the color. Contrast in the sky. Contrast between the lighter clouds and the darker clouds. And how this light reflects along the ground. So important, so interesting. And these are things that I look for in my photography all the time. So yeah, hey, it's Gary here with Gary Clayton Photography. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So again, just to sum up what our starting of our video, it is a scouting hike primarily. Sure, we're going to take a few shots. We have my Canon 6D. I have my 28 to 135mm lens. I also have my 17 to 40mm lens. I have the drone again with me today, so with a bit of luck, all things being equal, we're going to try to get some drone footage of certain areas, which is always nice. My Phantom 3 drone is the drone of choice today. I didn't bring the Unique Breeze, even though the Breeze is smaller and easier to take. I did bring the Phantom 3 simply because I cannot get past the fact that it has a gimbal camera and my Unique Breeze doesn't. Huge, huge difference. But hey, one thing in this backpack that I'm using, which is actually designed to carry the Phantom 3 series of drone plus a DSLR and other gear, I cannot take my 70 to 200mm lens. So that's a little bit of a drawback, but I could always attach it to the outside, I'm sure, or the outside of my backpack. Okay, enough babbling on. Let's get into this hike. Let's have a look for some colors and let's see what we can see, because it promises to be a very, very interesting scout day today. Let's go. Now, one thing here in Ontario that we have a lot of is apples. We have literally millions and millions of acres of apples. I'm just walking across the road here, or the lane. I just want to show you what I mean by lots of apples. Right here we have an apple orchard. Now this is absolutely amazing. Again, thousands and thousands and thousands of acres of beautiful apples. A lot of cider is made here in Ontario, especially in this region, around the town of the Blue Mountains, Collingwood, Thornbury, those areas. Lots and lots of cider is made, lots of apples are produced, lots of apple juice is produced. Absolutely amazing. You know what? Maybe I'll borrow one and maybe we'll try that apple, because this is absolutely amazing. It's something we have here and I just wanted to show you that. On my left side, you can see acres and acres of corn. This corn is all about or almost ready for harvest. You can tell when it's ready. All the green will have gone off any of the stems. There's still a little bit of green left. It'll be totally golden brown, tan color. And then the big harvesters that the farmer has will come along these fields and harvest this corn. A lot of this corn goes right to the supermarkets, and people love to kind of boil this and smear it in butter. And then there's a lower grain corn, which goes for farm feed. I can't tell you which one we're looking at right now. I don't know. I'm not a farmer. But we also grow lots and lots of corn here. Okay, now right across the harvested field ahead of us, first of all, is this part of fall colours? Well, yes it is, simply because what we're looking at right now is a harvested wheat field, which has still got that golden kind of shade to it. And then off in the distance, there's a grouping of trees. To the left, there's what we call Christmas trees or spruce trees. I'm sure you guys call them, wherever you are, you will call them probably the same thing, I'm not sure. Before the trees in the distance, there's the edge of a cornfield. Beautifully golden, beautifully brown, beautifully ready for harvesting. So yes, definitely part of fall colors. I did, using my Canon 6D, I did just grab a couple of handheld shots. I did that because it's not an amazingly interesting image by any means, and I didn't want to go to the time and effort right now of setting up the tripod, because we have a lot further to go on this hike and we have much more interesting things to see. But I still could not let that pass. And you know what? From that shot, if we did get anything, I am going to pop that up right now for you to look at, because it's just a scene that we just walked past, grabbed a couple of handheld shots and carried on about our day. Let's take a look at that shot. Okay, so right here in the midground we have a harvested wheat field, nice kind of golden color. In the foreground we have the green of what we call the sumac. I believe it's called sumac. And in the distance we have a row of trees where the leaves are at different stages of changing color. The foreground sumac, the green. Shortly, I don't know how long, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that's going to be a vibrant fire red. And this particular scene right here would be absolutely stunning. In fact, I did shoot a scene just like this last year, which became a very good selling fall image for me. I'm going to pop that image up right now for you to look at. So yeah, this is exactly the kind of thing we're looking at, and exactly the information we need, which is what stage is the change of the fall colours at right now. Where we are in central Ontario, well, first of all, Ontario is a huge place. I could jump in my car from where I am right now and I could start driving north, and 24 hours later I would still be in Ontario. But right here in central Ontario, there's a rate of change that's relatively consistent. The further north we go, the quicker and earlier the change takes place. The further south we go, the later the fall color change takes place. So today, again, a scouting kind of mission or hike or whatever you want to call it, recce, right here, is to tell us where things are at right now. Helps us judge where they're going to be a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks down the road as far as the colors are concerned. So yeah, just an example of the kind of thing we're looking at and the kind of thing we're looking for. Let's continue. It's really interesting. Right here in front of me, and it's very difficult to tell what you're going to see in the GoPro. Everything's much wider, of course. But if I move forward across this country lane, what I'm looking at here is the golden tree with kind of the half trunk, if you will, that's come off at some time, broken at some time in a storm. Underneath that tree, what you have is a cornfield. Off in the distance in the background, there's a couple of barns. There's one barn there that's a smaller red roofed barn that goes back, 130, 140 years. That barn, framed by that tree, would be a beautiful image. I don't want the brown barn. I really just want that red roofed barn, but it's way too close together. If I try to change my composition, it just does not work. And there's just no way I can just isolate that red barn by itself. A couple of handheld shots. Again, my Canon 6D 28 to 135mm lens. I did up the ISO to 1600 because I did want to get the shutter speed a little faster. It's grey and there's a brightness in the distance, but it's also quite dark. Hence upping the ISO. Also, f-stop. F14 I used. I want to get as much of this in focus as I can in a single image, and without setting up the tripod and focus stacking at this point. Okay, let's carry on. Now right here, on the right hand side of the frame, there's a beautiful splash of red colour as we look down and through the valley below. What a beautiful little scene. And it will change. There's going to be much more colour in this scene within the next couple of weeks. We might just come back here. Now right here, we're looking at, first of all, a tree that's actually in its peak of oranges, reds, golds, yellows, browns. It's in its peak. As we move across to the right, we see a body of trees, and then we see a nice brown barn. Now, as much as I try, I cannot get that or a composition in a single image that I actually like. But then I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe if I was to set up a tripod, maybe I could capture this scene as maybe a 3 or 4 image panorama. So, again, not the most stunning of images, of course not, but I still like it, so I'm going to set up a tripod. I have no idea what it'll turn out like, but if I don't set up and take the shots, I'll never know what it'll turn out like. So let's get the tripod set up, let's mount the camera, let's see if we can create a panoramic shot of this. Stand by, let's get the gear set up. Okay, we're set up on the tripod. This is actually not my most favorite tripod by any means. I love my fluid head rather than a ball head, especially for panoramic shots, but I don't have that with me today. This is much lighter on a long kind of hilly hike. This is a much lighter tripod. That's fine. And I certainly don't like center pole extensions. So I've extended it to a minimum. It's on solid ground. It's level. I focused automatically. Automatic focus is now turned off. We're on manual focus. F11, ISO 400, shutter speed 1/100th of a second. I'm going to take a shot of you guys, something I always do. That is going to tell me, okay, from now on, this is the beginning of my panoramic shot. Correct composure. First shot. There it is. Pan, 35-degree overlap, second shot. There it is. So that's 2 images. Pan, 35-degree overlap, third shot. 3 images, it now incorporates the barn. Let's take 2 more, because I do like the golden harvested feel to the right of the barn. Nice image. 1 more. Nice. 1 more shot of you guys. That'll tell me, hey, this is where this series of panoramic images ends. Wow. Big trucks too come down here. They're carrying grain from different farms to the market and so on at this time of year. I'm very kind of busy with that kind of work going on here. Big farm country here. Okay, so that panoramic's in the bag. Did we get anything? You know what? I have no idea. I'm in the middle of nowhere here. But when I get back to the studio, I will know then. And if we did get anything, let's pop it up and let's take a look at it. You know what? I was actually thinking this might be a nice area to pop up the drone, but I want to take a look further down the road too. So let's see. Let's pack up this gear. Let's continue the hike towards Creemore. Let's see what we see next. So this particular hike that we're doing today is actually quite interesting, and yet essentially simple. It's one long straight paved country narrow road, again all the way from just outside Stayner to Creemore. It's 19 kilometers round trip. Heading to destination, or heading south towards Creemore, it's pretty much a steady rise all the way to about 2 kilometers before we get to the village. Then we drop down that 2 kilometers down the side of the valley into the village. On the way back, we come out of the village of Creemore, and we've got that 2 kilometer steep hike back up into the hills. And then after that, it's almost a steady decline all the way back to where we started. It's really quite interesting. It's quite beautiful. Another thing we have right here in this general area, a lot of horse ranches. There's a lot of horse riding, horse breeding, horse racing, or what we call harness racing, that pulls like a small kind of trailer, if you will, behind it as they race. A lot of that goes on here. There's a lot of the training for those horses here. A lot of the care for those horses right here. So yeah, it's actually a beautiful location to be in. Okay. Making our way up probably the last hill on the way there. Then we're going to drop down all the way down that 2 kilometers. That'll be nice. Then we'll take a break. We'll have a cup of coffee. We're going to head back. On the way back, there's a few more areas I want to photograph that we didn't coming here, simply because I think the light will be better on my way back. Just because of where the sun, even though it's a gray day, the sun behind the clouds will have moved further across the horizon, and I think the light will be better. Okay. Yeah. What a beautiful day. Let's keep going. Well, coffee break's just about over. Time to head back to where we parked the car, which is quite a hike from here. Creemore is one of my favorite little communities here in central Ontario. Creemore I really like. I like Coldwater. Also, just communities I like. So, it started raining. A drizzle, it's a fine kind of drizzle. It's been kind of threatening throughout the hike so far today. It concerns me a little bit for the hike back, only because some of the images I thought about I would like to collect, I thought, you know what, the light might be a little bit better 2 or 3 hours later in the day, so I'm going to capture those images on my way back. If it's raining, it makes it much more difficult. But you know what, we'll see what happens. So hey, we're just kind of leaving the main street of Creemore. A little bit of coffee left in the cup. Shortly we're going to start that 2 kilometer section of the hike, which is pretty much straight up as we climb back up into the hills from the village of Creemore, which of course sits in the valley. So hey, let's get going. Let's see what happens. And let's hopefully see if we can get the drone up at some point. If it's raining, again, that might be a problem. We'll see. Let's go. Oh, they have good coffee. It's my favorite coffee shop is that one. Anyhow, right here, we're just basically looking at a very misty, low cloud, rainy kind of scene across the valley. Now, it has a certain amount of interest, especially with the mist, the cloud, and the drizzle in the air. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set up and I'm just going to try to take a handheld panoramic shot of this scene. I have no idea if it will be successful, but we'll give it a try. If it is successful, I'm going to pop that image up right now. Right here, yet another in the rain handheld shot. Barn in the distance, harvested field to the right, harvested field in the foreground. Again, you know what, my kind of shot. For those of you again that follow my videos and YouTube channel, you know I do shoot quite a few barns. I just kind of like those. But anyhow, handheld. Didn't set up on the tripod, just a little bit too much water coming down for that. So handheld, ISO 400, that gave me a shutter speed of 1/100th of a second. Just enough, I think, to eliminate or to help reduce any kind of camera or blurriness in the image with a focal length of 75mm. So there we go, at f8. So there we go, that was the shot. Hey, we're going to continue with this hike. I don't think we're going to get the drone up because the rain is just coming down a little bit harder most of the time. Right now there's a very slight reprieve, but you know, 2 minutes from now it'll be pouring again. Okay, let's carry on. Okay, we made it back to the car. We did not get the drone up today. The rain just kind of held that back, as well as stopping at certain locations on the way back on the hike to photograph that we'd seen going. Rain just didn't allow it. Although we did get a few handheld shots. We got a couple of panorama shots today, so that's going to be fun, and we're going to look at those. Was today a success? Well, we did exactly what we came out to do today. Today was just a recce. It was just kind of a scouting hike. I wanted to see basically where the fall colours were at. It is the beginning of the fall colour season. I'm going to say here in central Ontario, in this general area, between 7 to 10 days from now, we should be probably in the peak of the fall colours, and then after that it will taper down. But it doesn't do that quickly. It still takes another maybe 3 weeks or more after that for it to taper down, and then eventually just to become bare trees and awaiting the arrival of winter. And again, winter brings a whole new set of conditions for photography and for image capture. Snow, ice, all that kind of thing. So that's great. So today was a great success. It's been a lot of fun. Loved it. Hey, please give me a like, give me a share, leave a comment. I will get back to you. Tell your family, tell your friends. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And hey, let's sit back. Let's take a look at one or two of the images that we captured today. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.